cast and director and music and everything of the problem. You know, it's just every time you talk more and more about this problem, it just sounds better and better and better. So Angelica Page, thank you for visiting us. Yes, another New York living legend. Yeah, it seems like this show is all about New York living legends. Are you a New York born?
Yes. New York born, bred, lived, baby,
And what made you enter the problem? Do you connect to it?
The problem just came to find things. There's no escaping the problem.
Yeah? Do you have a favorite problem?
It's consuming me. I don't know. It's hard to choose. There's so many amazing problems. So I can't really choose one over the other, but they all become one big problem. So.
Is that like a dreadlock? Like, you know,
yeah.
Like they just like come and
then it consumes you.
Yeah.
Try to find your way out.
It can take a while. But is there a conclusion in the problem, Dave?
Yeah, Angelica doesn't even know we have a conclusion. I haven't given her the script. But actually, the conclusion's been written in the last 6 weeks. But you know what? It's like a never-ending story. It's like a never-ending problem. And it seems like every time we have it, a different ending seems appropriate for that night. Because we're still, that's one of the cool things. I guess when we finally go on Broadway, we're going to have an ending that mass America will accept, and you know, which is cool too. It will, but you know what?
I've seen there are some places.
But so far, it seems that like whatever seems real, maybe for that audience, almost improvisational. Cool. That's so cool. Yeah, you know, like. But I guess there is, you know, one basic thing that at the end they do have to have some realization about their journey and who they are as people, and you know, and all, you know, what their final statement is seems to change. Like one night the statement might be that we can all be successful. One might be no, still blank you. And I feel like it depends on the night how they say it. But I think that there is that basic journey.
So the play changes. I'm getting that. I just have a question. Angelica, are you hungry? Because it is National Potato Chip Day, and I also just got back from London, and I have treats from London. And on our show, we like to get a skeleton from the closet. So since this is a show about problems, your show, we love problems on ReW WhO, and it would be really nice if you guys go down the line.
I gave you my problem already that I wanted to be a goody-goody when I was a punk. I told you that one with the thing in LA. You got my problem already.
So, Freddie, since I know you the second most, maybe you'll feel comfortable sharing a skeleton from your closet, because I know you have one or two.
Oh my God.
That's not fair.
I'm not good at this.
Just a little story.
What's coming up now?
Did you ever run a turnstile, Freddie?
I ran turnstiles. Here's a good one. I should have remembered this the first time I was on.
There you go.
Okay, I broke into Shea Stadium.
Oh, that's good.
When I was about 13 or 14, no, it must have been more like 16, because somebody had a driver's license already. I grew up in Queens. We were driving around Queens one night, my high school buddies. We went to some party and drank too much, and got in the car and drove to Shea Stadium. And somebody decided, this was before 9/11 level security, you understand. Somebody decided it would be fun to experience what the Beatles felt like being in the middle of that field. So we somehow found a little crevice to sneak into, and we climbed in. And we all ran around the field in Shea Stadium.
Good for you. Do you want...
We went into the bullpen, we went into the dugout.
Good for you. And you didn't get caught?
We did not get caught. There was some little scooter driving around, but we seemed to keep ahead of it.
Good for you. So would you like some potato chips on National Potato Chip Day?
I'll have one potato chip.
There's wild, wavy, and hot. These are the hot ones. Yeah. All right. Are you ready, Vera? Do you have a good skeleton from your closet?
I guess it depends what people consider a skeleton.
It doesn't have. It's whatever you consider.
Okay, you know, something that I'm embarrassed about, perhaps?
If you feel like being embarrassed and sharing it, we welcome.
All right, so remember the Montel Williams show?
I do.
All right, I had a friend who I directed her drag king one-person performances in the 90s at the kitchen in different places. And she was getting put on these shows for, like, they'd have a drag king thing. And so she convinced me, by also throwing in some extra money of her stash, to convince, they wanted what they thought was one real woman who went through life dressed as a man for her occupation, or for a good reason. The other ones were all performance artists that did like drag king stuff. So she convinced me, because my voice is so low, that I could probably convince the producers on the telephone that I really worked as a man in the world, even though I was a woman. So I wasn't sure I wanted to do it because there was something dirty about the whole thing. It just felt really dirty, and then I thought, no, I'm an actor. This is a good acting exercise. Fuck it. So I got on the phone with the fucking producers, and I called myself Val. And I've always worked in recording studios, and I was at the recording studio at the time. So I basically convinced them that the reason I dressed as a man was because I was really into speed metal, and and there women weren't allowed to really record speed metal. Like they always want guy engineers from metal. So I convinced them that that's why I pretended to be a man until I could work in the field that I wanted. So they put me on a fucking show, and they woke, I didn't barely slept. Anyway, I kind of looked like more metal than Freddie, but I had like the gloves, I had the motorcycle jacket.
You were on Montel Williams?
Yeah. In the morning, and I hadn't really slept, and I had to deal with, God bless them, all these people in the audience going, DJ Hormones, get your voice like that! And they were yelling at me, and I was just like, this is hell. And then they were all like, you should be proud to be a woman! And all that started, and I was just like, but anyway, I did it really straight, really straight, and then I felt really dirty. But good for you. But now it's a good, I have a videotape, and I haven't watched it yet, but I watched it once. And I'll watch it again soon, but it's actually pretty good.
It's National Potato Chip Day.
Thank you very much.
Angelica doesn't have any skeletons.
And I do have some
I've seen
candy
her
from
closet.
England. Would you like to dig in for? Would you like to dig in, Freddie? No? You want some, Vera? This is lovely treats from.
Well, maybe I'll take some to go.
Oh, you can have to go. Would you like some, Angelica? Just came on the plane yesterday. So, Angelica, I'd love to hear a skeleton from your New York closet.
I wish I had some. I'm so afraid that people will have something to use on me that I always expose everything about myself.
Yeah, we all do.
It's like, fuck it.
It's 2012, you know? You can find anything.
I think that's what I said.
I don't have any time to be blackmailed.
That's a skeleton. That's like opening.
I used to have a skeleton actually hanging in my closet because when people would ask me, I would just take him in the closet and open it. But do you remember anything, some crazy story you could tell about me?
No, when are you having a closet?
I'll tell you the truth. I don't remember anything. I mean, I lived in East Village for 12 years. My life in the East Village is unconsciousness. I mean, you could accuse me of anything. I can't prove I didn't do it. I mean, but for 12 years, I lived in the East Village when you knew me. I don't remember. I had
How
no
many years
consciousness.
have we known each other, though? What
Gosh.
year was that?
That was like
78?
1981. I have a flyer that you were in a show I did in 1981 at the Mud Club.
So we met before that.
Yeah, we did. Like,
I used to sit at you managed in town.
I used to manage this punk clothing store across the trash and volleyball.
And he used to buy me
And-
pizza so that I would
Oh,
Natasha's.
Oh, the one. All right, I know where that is.
Yeah.
And it had really tall spiked white hair, and he would buy me pizza.
You
So
did?
I would sit in the window. I realized later, so I would attract the customer. I was like 14 or something. I don't know. And then remember the Beastie Boys when they were like 12? They used to come in and
Yeah.
try to get quarters
They had
from
their
us.
Yeah. I
Before
think
their
we
whole
did.
hormones kicked in.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that was cool. A lot of people came into the store. We had a lot of people back then.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Didi
So
Ramone used to come in.
Did I do any crazy? Oh, you can't remember. We did
I can't
Sunny
remember.
Brows,
I mean,
you
like,
can't
well, to
remember.
me, I didn't even know what crazy meant in those days.
No.
And now you have the problem.
Now you can see how the problems evolve. Looking at our past.
It gets bigger, doesn't it? It keeps getting bigger.
But you know, even though I don't didn't talk much, I want to say with this amazing woman, I'm so lucky. I mean,
You
like,
guys
I have a lot of
are doing
great
pretty
men,
well.
but I mean, there's two amazing women who I wouldn't be here without either of these two women. And Angelica really made me finish writing this play. And without Angelica, I probably wouldn't even made it in life if it wasn't for her faith in this project.
So I have a question for Angelica, all right? Not only is she adorable, gorgeous, you look like
And on
you couldn't
Broadway
even
right now.
been around. What are you doing on Broadway?
It's a play called The Best Man, and it's the second revival, so it's the third time it's on Broadway. It was written in 1960 by Gore Vidal. It's about a dirty, rotten presidential campaign.
Oh, so it's an appropriate timing, right?
Yeah, and the crazy thing is it was written in 1760, that's when it was, I think, the first time it was on Broadway, and we haven't changed any of it. And
So
it's
who's the
completely up to
president?
date. Well, the former president, who's is James Earl Jones, and John Larroquette and Eric McCormick from Will and Grace. They're the two presidential candidates who are tearing each other apart.
Wow, and who do you play?
I
The
play
sexy
the
babe?
Monica Lewinsky.
Do you really? Do you know?
I played the
I met her. I
Monica.
met
don't
Monica
play
Lewinsky.
I play Catherine, but you know.
So she's the girl
She's a
intern?
political aide to
Okay.
John Larroquette.
And do you have a moment with him
I have a few moments.
under the desk?
But I don't see him.
Yeah,
Run
but
right and see it.
do you have the blue dress?
I have a really fantastic dress, but
And I just have to say, I love the fact that you come here, looking as you do, eat potato chips, eat candy. I love you, Angelica.
I love you too.
I swear to God, I love a girl that eats.
Me too.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you always eat?
Is it when I'm hungry? Is it
It's a
really
little
potato
bit
chip?
swallow.
Is it really potato
It is.
chip?
It's National Potato Chip Day. I do not make this stuff up. It is National Potato
I
Chip
never
Day.
heard of such a thing.
I
That's
never-
amazing.
I didn't know that.
Every day there's some freaked out holiday, and I only know the ones that happen like when I do the
Something
show.
like-
So, sum up the problem, what each person here is responsible
Okay,
for doing, because
first
you've
of all,
got an amazing team here, Dave.
I also want to first mention the people who aren't here. Is that okay, guys? Because there's a lot of people. Because a lot of
Absolutely.
people have made this happen. You see three of the geniuses here. First of all, in terms of music, also, Paul didn't make it, but when we were on 2 years ago, Paul of Living Dead was with us because he wrote the music for the first songs. Okay, Freddie Katz has written the new music. But also, I said, Donna Destry, Tina Peterson, and Yo Sassoon from England and the Defectors. And we have a new song with Christopher North coming on.
How does someone get to be in the problem? Does
they have to-
ignite them?
They have to be a political aid to Angelica. And, no, but I guess, but also in it is Peter Lewis, who had a movie out with Robert De Niro. He played the multi-level marketing salesman and the right-wing banker. He was unbelievable. Charles Chuck Wiley was amazing. Paula Ewing amazing. Maya Pitt amazing. We have a young genius we discovered, Alex Somali, but unfortunately he's having a problem and he's in Los Angeles and he couldn't be here. So there's a problem. You make a play called A Problem and you get people involved and then you have problems. Because he's like been our star and Angelica is Justine Makebear instead of playing off against each other. Now, but please go listen to the music with vocals by Alex Somali. Angelica, 2 great songs. Parents Don't Mess Up Your
Can
Children.
you sing something a cappella, would you?
No, I can't, because I'm
She's going to go back on stage a little
yeah,
while.
and I'm not even supposed to be talking, because my throat's open.
But she has another song called Somebody Has to Care, and I really believe that song could be a punk anthem. That song, I listened to like in the 90s, I was working with kids, punk bands then, a band like Anti-Flag could take that song and make it into an anthem. Because you ask me why I stand up and fight for those who are hungry and have no rights. Somebody has to care with a punk backbeat. That's Angelica's song. And also Marsha Resnick, amazing photographer, did our photograph. And who's Mark's last name who did the website?
Simzak.
I also have Timothy Doyle who played the narrator. I probably forgot some people. If I did, forgive me, but okay. Well, we need now. The problem needs money. We need somebody to pop a couple $100,000 on us, and then the problem
So is
won't be
that what
a
you're waiting
problem.
for?
That's all.
No pass.
And on the
Now you're
website.
turning into a regular artist.
That's right. No, we're regular artists. But the thing is, on the website, you can make checks out to Porn Page Production. It tells you where to send the checks. But you know what? If you don't want to give us money, just give us the theater, a place to
Would
live
you
for
take
free, and a
videos
food
or-
pass to eat at night, and then we can do it temporarily without money. So we're willing to live in a commune, a high-tech commune with nice technology and a
Yeah, we
free
need
theater.
technology. It has to be a high
So we don't necessarily have to have money. But you know what? But you know what? We want to bring you. You've heard that this play is developing. This play is about, and anybody who has a theater and needs a play that's going to be a hit, this is gonna be. Like us.
Do you have a
it's gonna be-
Facebook page?
No, but we have a website.
Website.
We do have a like page on website on Facebook. You can like us. Yeah, everybody, like the problem on Facebook.
And you can like their problem on our ReW WhO page.
Okay, but BeAProblem.com, www.beaproblem.com, www.be. And our theme is 1, 2, 3. You can be part of the problem. It's also the count of 3. You can be part of the problem. 1, 2, 3. You can be part of the problem.
So, do you think a problem is universal or is it special? Like,
Yes.
It's universally special. Universally special.
Yes.
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 Especially universal.
And yes, it's special and universal.
That's right. So,
I think it hits a chord. I think I can honestly say, because I wrote it now as an older punk, but I wrote it part of my growing up. I had a horrible childhood. I had tragedies in my family. I never was taught how to be successful. Millions of kids
well,
around this
that's the
planet.
entire generation.
I mean, but millions of kids right now are growing up, who are even in their teens and 20s, who are growing up with no idea how to pay the bills, no idea how to get a job.
Exactly.
And I mean, so I think this play cuts, and they're looking for who's going to beat us. Some go to the government, some get taken advantage by business, some join religious organizations, some are lucky enough to figure it out.
Do you think the times have changed, or is that just the way it is for
You
like
know
that?
what, I think times do change, and I think each time around, hopefully, there are more and more enlightened people. I think you go back thousands of years, there were a handful of philosophers who knew everything that the
You think
most
they had money in
enlightened
their
person now knows, but I think more people know it today, so I think I think there are more enlightened people out there today than there were then, but there's always been enlightened people, but I think especially with technology and the internet, there are more enlightened people sharing knowledge
But
today.
do they have money in their pockets?
Well, you know what, if you believe we were talking about the secret and the power, that's where the play ends up in that metaphysical universe where the universe,
So then
where the universe is your bank account, and I'm still waiting for my check to come from that bank account to pay all the money I owe, but I know some hand is going to dip down, tomorrow there's going to be $250,000 in my bank, and all my debts will be paid off, and the universe is going to give it to me.
Well, that sounds like an interesting non-problem.
There you go.
Yeah. So I guess you're set then, Dave Street.
I hope so.
Sounds like you got it all figured out. Freddie, what do you want? Any last shout outs from you?
I think the last bit of advice on this is anyone who tells you they have the answer, they're not the ones.
Beware.
Like the legendary Indian shaman said, those who know don't say, those who say don't know.
Oh, you remind me of Dr. Seuss. He is my favorite. Dr. Seuss has my favorite quote. He says, "Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind."
So those who are sure that they can solve the problem probably are not the ones who can
Well,
solve
guess
it.
what? I cannot solve any problem whatsoever, but I always say that, I make a ton of mistakes. My whole life is one big
Me
mistake.
me too.
Yeah.
We've all made a lot of mistakes.
But you know what? You still get to live and enjoy and have a show. So that's the whole
It's the
point.
way you learn.
I mean, but that's the whole point. Even though we make mistakes, we still get to live and enjoy being with each other. And that's the amazing
All right, we
part.
gotta go. This is ReW WhO.
I hope your life is not a problem.
Thanks, everybody. Dave Street and the program, all of you, everyone love you guys. See you next Friday, Brandon Saloon, 1 year anniversary at the Brandon in Brooklyn. ReW WhO, Facebook, all those places. Say your names. David McKay, Dave Street, Angelica Page,
Vera.
Freddie
Katz.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Avita Singh. We'll be back Friday, next week at Autos.